Peace, peace. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another Substantial Weekly. My name is Substantial. I feel like the mic is too far away, son. Peace, y'all. I hope all is well. Happy Friday, all that good stuff. If it's your first time to the channel, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, yada, 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 all that good stuff. Excited to be back, man. Excited to see y'all. Peace to everyone in the chat already. If you haven't shared the link, please consider doing so. If those of you who are watching on Facebook, be sure to like the video. You can also share it as well. But yeah, man, a few things to get into today. Not too crazy, but definitely want to talk to y'all about some stuff and update y'all on some things. So first and foremost, peace to those in the chat. Jermon, what's going on? Good to see you, Armand. Who else we got? Last King Saint up in here. Peace, peace. Hey man, glad you enjoying that opening instrumental. Been testing it out, see what y'all think about it. Maybe I'll do something with it, but we'll see how that goes. Michael Left, peace. What's going on, family? All right, and thank you again for the love on the intro. Those of you watching behind the scenes, feel free to say peace. Let us know where you're tuning in from, all that good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we got our brother Early Bird up in here. Shout out to my brother Early Bird. Congrats on the new release. If you haven't checked out Don't Dim Your Light yet, be sure to check that out on all streaming platforms, and you can watch the animated video here on YouTube. In fact, if you watched the video Substantial Weekly last week, we covered the video. There should be a link in the description of that. All right. But yeah, man, hope y'all are doing good. So much to cover today. Jen Jackson, peace. What's going on? Good to see you up in here. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. All right. Word. So, yeah, man. A couple different things to cover today. May not be as long as other vids because I don't have as much to update y'all on. Just a couple things with the album and a few events coming up and stuff. So today may or may not be short, depending on how the Q&A goes and depending on what questions y'all got for me and all that good stuff, and we'll go from there. I do have some content that I plan to upload to the channel real soon. As you know, MagFest was last week. MagFest was a great time. Shout out to my brothers, the NPC Collective. Yeah, man, it was a great time, a great night, great performance. And shout out to MagFest for having us. But yeah. All right, first question we got from my man Early Bird. Early Bird said, he asked, how was my birthday? Thank you for asking that. My birthday was dope. Let me ask my little partner over here what he thinks, how he thinks my birthday went. How you think my birthday went? Little Substantial says the birthday went well. Yo, so for those who don't know, if you didn't watch last week, this was my gift from Early Bird. He came through and dropped this off. Got the mini Substantial bobblehead with the Substantial hoodie on and some New Balance. Seems about right. You know what I mean? Even got the salt and pepper in the bed, the whole nine. Crazy. You know what I mean? So little Substantial thinks it was dope. All right. But yeah, man, thanks for the gift, bro. It was a great birthday, man. I had a great time. Shout out to you. Thanks for stopping by. And yeah, man. Yeah, it was MagFest was amazing. Shout out to everyone who came through. They sang happy birthday to me in a packed out room, which was crazy. So yeah, man, it was dope. It was dope. Thanks for asking. Joshua McGee, peace. What's going on, fam? Good to see you in here as well. Blair Taylor, peace. What's up, fam? All right. Oh, there we go. All right, peace. What's going on, Blair? So, what else did you get as presents? Did I get a... Oh, one of the gifts. So my sister's coming in town today. My sister Lisa is coming in town, and the gift that she has is a gift for both me and my wife. She's coming through to watch my kids for the weekend, so me and my wife can have a quick getaway. So that's exciting, man. To just be able to, have some time for ourselves and stuff, man. Be able to relax, not have to worry about the kids, know that they're safe and don't need us for anything immediate. So they'll be chilling with her while we're gonna take a day and a half or whatever to get away. enjoy ourselves, spend some company, maybe go out to eat, shoot some pool, relax, all that good stuff, man. So excited about that. I think that'll probably be the last of the gifts coming through. Other gifts, the big gift for those who don't know, was y'all, man, supporting the Kickstarter campaign, which ended on my birthday, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But the campaign was successful. We successfully raised over $18,000, and as of right now, like a good amount of the money is starting to process, and it look like things are looking good in terms of folks having it set up properly so payments can be collected, so that way we can get the funding started for the record. So thank you to everyone who supported that campaign. That may have been there were lots of cool birthday gifts, present one included, but yeah, man, having you all support the campaign might have been the coolest gift ever. So thank y'all, man. Excited to let y'all hear this new record, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. All right. Let's see. Peace. What's going on, Vans? Good to see you in here. All right. Thank you. Looks like Ramon enjoyed the video early. Yeah, man. Yeah, they sang the birthday song, Happy Birthday, at the event, so it was dope. Question for you, brother. If you could do a Tiny Desk, which songs would you perform and why? So, if I were to get booked for a Tiny Desk, and if it was this particular year, I'd likely include, like, I think most people usually do, most Tiny Desks I've seen have been about like 15 minutes. So in that period of time, if I did full length songs, I probably could get like 4 songs in there. If I did like a medley type of situation, which I tend to do a lot, I could get more. So that being said, the obvious tracks I perform, I would do a Nugent Best medley toward the end, per usual. I always pay tribute to Jen for helping me get my start. And so I'd probably close out with that, and probably do a medley of like Waiting for the Clouds, Blessing It, obviously. Maybe Eclipse or City Lights, you know what I mean? So those probably would be a medley toward the end, or maybe even starting it off with that, you know what I mean? Just to switch it up. From the new album, oh man, there's a song that I just recorded yesterday, which we'll talk about that in a bit, but there's a song that's dedicated to my wife and my sister, Lisa, who I'm seeing today. That I probably would perform that track, and I don't want to spoil who the guest vocalist is going to be, because I need to get their parts first, and I want to make sure we confirm that before I start telling the world they're on it. But yeah, that one would be pretty dope to perform live. Man, maybe. Oh yeah. Your Man Though? Every time I say the title, you got to say it, Your Man Though? You got to say it like that. So I'd likely perform that song as well. From older stuff, maybe Black of All Trades or Made in Maryland. In the medley, I'd probably include No Turning Back 2.0. Man, I got a lot of music, so it's tough. It really depends. And depends on the band I'm working with and how they feel about things too. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, a lot to consider. But thank you for that question. I have auditioned before, and I didn't get it. So I might take another stab at it this upcoming year. I've been talking to some folks about putting the band together to work this new record. We'll see how that goes. Can't make y'all no promises, but if that is able to come to fruition, then I think us auditioning with the band that I'm thinking about could be pretty dope. All right. Peace, my brother. Peace. What's going on? Warpath. Clap it up for Warpath. Clap it up for all of y'all. You know what I mean? All of y'all are amazing, man. I appreciate all the regulars that come through and support week in and week out. But yeah, let's see what else. Other reminders. In case you weren't aware, Super chat is back on. For those of you who want to ensure that I don't miss your question, and just want to support the channel in general, super chat is always a great way to do that. You can also support via Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. All right, and it's always appreciated. Okay. So let's get into some other things. All right, about to switch screens for a moment. Okay, actually, no. Before we do that, let's talk about something else. So, before I do that, just a quick reminder. As far as music that's out right now, if you go to the description of this video, any of you watching, you can go ahead and check out the playlist that I've created for Adultish. In that playlist, you can check out the 2 singles that have dropped from the album so far, that dropped in the fall of last year. It includes No Per Diem 2.0 featuring Mega Ran, and it also includes Reed Richards. Both tracks produced by me. So those are out right now. That playlist also includes the instrumental. So be sure to check that playlist out. Give those songs a listen. I'm assuming if you're here right now, you might have already heard it. But for those who haven't, please check those out. Make sure you add those tracks into your rotation if you haven't. And also be on the lookout. I forgot to add it to the link of this video, but I'll be sure to add it again next week. But make sure you check out my 2023 collaborations playlist, which is on Spotify. Let me know how many of you listen to music on YouTube, because I can create one here on YouTube. I used to do that and then kind of stopped because it wasn't really getting as much traction as the Spotify one was. But I can create a playlist for my collabs for 2023 for y'all to check out, since obviously a lot of y'all are watching here on YouTube. Some of y'all are watching on Facebook or Twitch. But if you're interested in checking out that playlist on a different platform, let me know. I'll see what I can do. If it's a platform I use, I got you. If not, what I would recommend is for any of the fans who are willing to do so, if you're on Tidal, if you're on Apple Music and you want that playlist over there, you can mirror the playlist that I've already created on those platforms to make sure that fans like yourself have access to those tracks. But so far, the playlist includes the song Broken by Tribe of Zamar, and the track Don't Dim Your Life, Don't Dim Your Light, pardon me, by Early Bird and myself. Both of those tracks are currently on the playlist. And starting next week we will be adding an additional track to that playlist, which you got to hear last Friday night. And that track is called It's My Way, Keep On, or Keep On, It's My Way. That is with me, Koma Chi, and my brother Uyama Hiroto. So yeah, man, so that drops next Friday. Super excited for y'all to hear that. I think that track is gonna probably run some numbers up, man. It's a really dope vibe. Folks seem to really like it last week. And man, I'm proud of all of these different collaborations that I've been doing. Got a few more down the pipeline. Got some more collaborations with homies in the video game music space. Actually just got asked to do a song for an esports team. So that's going to be coming down the pipeline. What other releases? A vocalist who y'all have heard me work with before recently reached out. So we're likely going to do something new here in 2023. And other stuff, man. More to come. I'm sure there's songs I've done a while ago, because this is what happens. I do a ton of collaborations in a year, and sometimes those tracks don't come out for years. Sometimes they drop right away. So I will keep y'all posted, per usual, as the new music drops. But yeah, man, that is that. So let's switch up and get into this other news, this other information. Just want to update you on Kickstarter and the album. All right. And again, man, thank y'all so much for supporting the campaign. All right. So let's add this to the screen. Yeah. Okay. Go gadget. Pow. All right. So hold on one second. Nice Afro said, that's pretty cool. Was actually re-listening to your Emperor rap recently. Man, thank you, fam. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So for those who don't know, I've done several songs for the video game Arc Knights. And I've basically done a few songs from the perspective of this character called the Emperor. And they actually have a music video where you could check out me rapping as the Emperor, and it's like 3D animation. And or then what's the other one? And then there's this other song. It should be on my top 5 in on Spotify, where the chorus is like, I ain't come to play, I just come to slay. Best believe today's your lucky day when I touch the stage. That was never something. I don't remember all the words. I haven't performed it ever. But yeah, nah, I like that joint too. I like it a lot. It was a lot of fun to do. I like doing joints where people don't always get to hear me kind of do different styles and stuff like that. I think people prefer a certain style from me. And while that box can be comfortable, I don't always like being in that box. It's just like my home. I like being in my home. I like being in my studio. It's a cool place, but I don't like to spend all day there. You know what I mean? So so it was fun to do that and kind of flex my other abilities. Peace, God. What's going on, Malik? All right, good to see you up in this joint. Thanks for tuning in. Man, I'm super bummed I couldn't support, but I'm sure I'm buying all things from the tier I was going to choose once it's available. Warpath is all good. I'm sorry we couldn't work things out, man. I've had some difficulty in the past trying to do that with other people, and sometimes things get lost in the mix, so I just wanted to avoid doing it that way. But fam, I already know you're going to support, man. You've been one of the most reliable fans I've had in recent years, and so I'm grateful for you, man. I'm grateful for all of y'all in here right now, man, because y'all always come through for a brother, and I appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? Yes, Nice Afro. That track was the April Fool's joint that dropped. It has a different name though. I'll look that up and drop it in here in a second once it comes up on Spotify in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1.5. Hold on, here we go. All right, so that track is called Loyal to the Beat, the track that Nice Afro and I are talking about, which is from the video game Arc Knights, called Loyal to the Beat. Yeah, man. That was really good. People loved it. Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Yeah, it definitely was a lot of fun. Man, thank you for the music. Favorite rapper by far, Truth by now, who was in Virginia when we first met, started courting each other through Eclipse, is our dedicated. Wow, that's what's up, man. That's love right there. I appreciate that. All right, appreciate you. All right, so let's talk about Adultish and let's talk about the Kickstarter campaign. So yeah, man, as you can see, the campaign is now over. The album is called Adultish for anyone who still didn't know. You can click that button to follow along. I would say make sure everyone is following me on Bandcamp if you aren't already. All right. Or bare minimum, my mailing list, and so that way you don't miss updates. But we ended with 168 backers, which is dope. And we raised over $18,321. Yo. Yeah, man. Thank y'all. I can't thank y'all enough. So to date, for solo campaigns, this is the most I've ever raised for a solo campaign. And it's crazy because I've done other campaigns, like when I've done Bop Alloy campaigns, we technically had more backers, but we raised less money. And so yeah, man, I'm eternally grateful to y'all for the support. But let's get into the update, and then we'll talk about the record a bit more. All right. So yeah, so this is the update that went out on the 11th, so 2 days ago. By the way, if the homie Jamin Cuevas happens to turn this on and checks out today's video via Facebook or wherever you may watch, happy birthday to you, brother. Happy born day to my brother Jay Cuevas, Jamin Cuevas, aka the Critic, man. He's a brother that I sometimes quote from time to time. And my favorite quote that he said that actually applies to this album is, he said, don't call me grown, or like, don't call me grown, because that implies that I don't have more growing to do, you know? And yeah, man, I always loved that. Yeah, super dope. But anyway, here's the update for you guys. So we did it, everybody. We're celebrating out here. Thanks for the support, your love, patience, all that good stuff. So here's what is going on right now. So payment collection for Kickstarter has officially started, for those who don't know. So I would say right now there's a few of you, I'm not going to put you on blast, but there's like, I think 3 people right now who need to update their information on Kickstarter. Make sure, if any of you have supported, to log in, to make sure that everything's okay. They should give you a message. You might have received a message via email letting you know if your payment was successfully processed or not. If it wasn't, then you might want to fix that, because if you don't, you won't be eligible for what you pledged for, because your money would have never been collected. So just wanted to give you heads up. I'm appreciative of everyone pledging, whether it was successful, pardon me, or not. But just giving you heads up. If you're one of the 3 people whose information hasn't gone through yet, then please fix that at your earliest convenience. Let me check the comments real quick. Thank you, Warpath. You know what I mean? I got a little bit of a sense of humor. I try to, make it somewhat entertaining out here, but yeah, so other updates. So earlier this week, Monday, I actually met with Naturel to discuss the variant art, which we successfully funded. And yeah, man, we discussed like him pulling inspiration from old photos of mine, relative to my journey in life and in my music career. And so I gathered that information already for him. He also has a rough copy of the album so far, which I'm gonna talk about in a second. Also, I think Tuesday of this week, I spoke to Tone Deaf of Q15 and Quintic, and and obviously of Extended Fam. He's mixing and mastering the entire project. So the goal is to get the project done by late January, almost said July, late January of this year. The project should be fully mixed. So the dope thing is, for those of you who only support it at a digital level, you know that your particular perk will be completely finished by later this month. Obviously, the album doesn't come out till April, but you all will get an early copy of it probably at the top of April, because more than likely the album's going to drop in late April. But yeah, you will be getting that along with some of the other digital features that come with the download. All right. So this number has changed since I did this on Wednesday, so we'll get into that. But basically, I said I got 30% left to complete of the album. We are now at around 20%, because another song for the album was recorded yesterday. And oh my God, oh my God, man, played it for my wife, who does not impress easily, regardless to how much she loves me. I played it for her, and man, she definitely liked what she heard. And dude, it's yeah, man, she was impressed, to say the least. And part of the song does talk about her, but it also talks about my sister Lisa and their influence on my life and all of that. So man, it's amazing. Some other info about the song: it's in 3/4 time signature. For those of you who've been listening to me for a while, you've heard me do a few songs in that time signature, mainly My Favorite Things. Also, Your Truth was in a 3/4 time signature, and I want to say RPM, resolutions per minute, was also a 3/4 time signature. So I definitely love rapping over tracks that have that time signature, and yeah, this is no exception. Waiting for the vocalists to get back to me on their part and let me know if there's 100% down to join on the track. And so yeah, man, I'll keep you posted. So yeah, Other updates. Yeah, I already talked about that. So yeah, so I'm completing the surveys. Was expected to be I expect to be done with creating the surveys by Monday at the latest. But I definitely am hard at work on making sure that I ask all the right questions, so all of that's covered for you guys. But yeah, so they should go out by early next week. And the moment you get those emails, please complete all of that information. The longer you all take to complete the information, the longer it'll be before you receive your perks. Remember, some of these perks are digital, which means that I will begin work on those immediately once people complete the surveys. All right, let me check the chat real quick, make sure I ain't miss any questions. Man, I'm excited to share it with you, bro. Like, seriously. Yeah, man, and that's right. Early's birthday is in late April, so if I have an album release party somewhere here in the DMV, you gotta come out and celebrate with us, brother. You know. So yeah, man. Outside of the surveys, in case you missed last week, if you did not watch Substantial Weekly last week, you should go back and watch that video. I didn't put chapters all the way through it. I'm sorry. It's a lot. I'm a one-man army most of the time, especially with this YouTube stuff, with the exception of when Serenity, my oldest daughter, helps out. But yeah, man, inspiration to sit through that hour-plus long video is the fact that 2 songs from the album I leaked last week in order to encourage some of you to back the Kickstarter campaign. And it worked. And yeah, these are rough drafts of both songs. Both songs will be slightly different by the time you hear them on the album in terms of the mixing and the quality. Also, one of those songs is going to have cuts added to it. And yeah, like, I don't know what else to tell you, but like, go check that out because the songs are fire. And if you backed on Kickstarter, an easy way to just skip right to those songs is you can come right into Kickstarter, go to this update, click on these links, and it'll take you directly to where the songs are in the video. All right. And another update. We shot a 3rd music video for Adultish, and that was for the song No Per Diem 2.0 with Mega Ran. So definitely be on the lookout for that, man. I'll keep you posted to when that drops. I just got a nudge from one of the homies about the one I shot in Uganda. So my goal is to get that done as well. I also got to get the final mix of that song so I can finish the video. So, man, so we got videos for 3 songs so far. No Per Diem 2.0, a song called The Long Route, which was filmed in Uganda. And Reed Richards, the music video for that was shot in Romania, in Bucharest specifically. So, yeah. Lots to, man, there's more. I'm going to stop there because it'll be a whole lot of talking. But as you can see, we're hard at work on getting this album done, man. And I can't stress to y'all enough how proud I am of the record. It's not finished. And already, man, just in terms of the amount of work I've put in, making sure that the production is on par with any production I would get from producers outside of, me doing it myself. Like, y'all heard what I've done with Marcus D. Y'all have heard what I've done with Q&5 and, the various members of that crew. You've heard what I've done with so many different producers. And I would say that the response has been, for people who really know my catalog outside of the collaborations, but also my solo work as well. The statement that I've heard over and over again is that this is some of my best work. And I believe that it is, but I'm just letting you know what people are telling me. And these are people who are very critical of what I do. So these are not people who impress easy. And so I'm grateful that it has their respect and that, yeah, man, I think y'all are going to love it, But of the tracks y'all have heard so far, what has been your favorite, man? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this later. But let's get into the chat right now. Man, I'm excited to hear it. Kevin says for his birthday, as long as it's not on isn't on Earth Day. I got you. I got you. I know that is your day. I am not touching it, sir. All right. Yes, Eric, that was the last one. Yep. So if you watch that last video, you can check out you can check out 2 songs that were unreleased so far from the album, you know. But yeah, man. So at this time, we can go ahead and jump into this Q&A. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to send them through. If you want me to address your questions first, you can use the super chat feature, and I got you, or send through a super sticker. That's always appreciated. No pressure, per usual. Never mandatory. Always appreciated though. But yeah, man. And while we're doing that, I will also try to dig up something else that I wanted. See if I can find. Oh, that's what it is. While y'all are sending through questions, this is what I wanted to let you know. So as far as events, couple things coming up. First event that's coming up is January 27th is the next event that I have. That is going to be with the Baltimore Boom-Bap Society. I got to follow up with them. I should have a flyer hopefully by next week so I can share it with you all. But the Baltimore Boom-Bap Society has been around for quite some time. It's basically it's all improvisation. You got multiple people playing different instruments. You got beatboxers, and then they feature certain artists. And so I'm one of the I think I'm one. Or if I'm not one of the artists that's featured next week, not next week, on January 27th, I'm one of several. And basically it's all improvisation. I don't know what they're going to play. And based on what they play, it'll be a combination of me maybe doing songs of mine that already exist over other production, over their original beat on the spot, or freestyle. So it's going to be a lot of different things. It's always a good time. So definitely be on the lookout for that info if you're in the DMV. Again, that's going to be on January 27th in Baltimore. I don't have location on me because I haven't received the flyer yet. But once I get that, of course, I'm going to share it with you guys. So mark your calendars if you're in the B-More area. Baltimore, Maryland, January 27th. Catch me at the Baltimore Boom-Bap Society. All right. So that's the first event. I do have an event the following day, January 28th. That's going to happen in Washington, D.C. at the Eaton Hotel. I'm waiting for more details on that as well, but I'm supposed to be participating in the Words, Beats, and Life Combine, which is something for writers, like for poets, MCs, and stuff like that, and songwriters who basically will be judged by me, Odyssey, Ciroc, and Nonchalant, who's a DMV legend. If you don't know who she is, she's a hip hop legend. So definitely, as I get more information on that, I will be sharing that as well. And that's at the Eaton Hotel, January 28th here in the Washington, D.C. area. All right. So yeah, those 2 events are up next. And the next convention that I will be at is a much smaller convention compared to the last one I just did. But I will be at Far Point Convention. That is also in Maryland. That's in Hunt Valley, Maryland, going a bit north from here. And that is happening February 10th through the 12th. As you can see, I don't have flyers for most of these events. Otherwise, I would have graphics and stuff on the screen. But I'm waiting for the flyers and different things so I can promote that to you all. At the Far Point Convention, I'll be doing a couple different things there. We'll be doing our next Sketchpads, our first Sketchpads event for 2023. So it'll likely have me on beats. We don't know who the guest artist will be just yet, but yeah, that's happening February 10th through the 12th, and I believe Sketchpads in particular is going to happen that Sunday at 11 a.m. I think at the convention. And then I also will be doing an anime and hip hop panel as well, where I talk about the connection between anime and hip hop and talking about the history of it, different artists who've done songs about anime. People who have had music featured in anime. Obviously, we'll be talking about Samurai Champloo, and Nujabes and all of that. So yeah, man, should be really dope. So yeah, those are the upcoming events to look out for. So again, just to recap, January 27th, Baltimore, Maryland, at the Baltimore Boom-Bap Society. Catch me there. Then January 28th at the Eaton Hotel for the Words, Beats, and Life Combine. Then February 10th through the 12th, you will catch me at Farpoint Convention in Hunt Valley, Maryland. All right. Those are the events, all that good stuff. Let's see. Comments. I appreciate that, Warpath. Yeah, man, I figured as much. I know I changed the time on y'all, and it was because I was at the convention earlier that day. All right. So random question from Vans, and shout out to the folks in the chat right now watching on Twitch. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to everyone watching across the different platforms. But Vans has a question, and it says, random question, but what are your thoughts about lo-fi hip-hop as a genre and how it's evolved over the years to become almost mainstream? That's a great question. I mean, to clarify, to me, it's not a genre. It's a subgenre, right? Literally the genre that it's associated with, which, is in the name, is hip hop, right? And I know some people are particular about like calling it rap music. That's a whole different technical conversation, because technically hip hop is the culture or subculture, and while rap is actually the genre of music that has spawned from hip hop. So lo-fi hip hop, to me, I don't view it as a genre. I just view it as a subgenre. It's just another section of hip hop. I feel like there are some people who make a conscious effort to try to separate it from the rest of hip hop because it checks certain boxes. And I always, when I find people doing that, my eyebrows always raised. I'm always concerned, because, there are some people who enjoy hip hop, but who don't necessarily mess with certain people or certain ethnic groups within hip hop culture, or don't mess with certain content within it. And people have the right to like what they like, as long as it's not coming from a place that I feel is, that is a bit racist. And I always find it interesting when people bring certain things into hip hop in particular, considering it started as a black and brown space. And so but sometimes I find it interesting what happens sometimes with lo-fi, like in terms of who are the artists, who are the face of it, so to speak, especially because we treat it like it's a somewhat new thing. If we want to be technical, as a subgenre, not as a subgenre, but as a sound, in terms of the aesthetic, it has existed in hip hop, in rap music for a long time. So it's just in recent years, in terms of like what people define as lo-fi hip hop, in terms of sonically what it sounds like, but then its relation to anime and all of these different things. Like, I feel like everything that now exists around it is maybe fairly new, but sonically it's been a thing. Like, you can go back to old hip hop tracks that have that same feel, because a lot of the people who make lo-fi hip hop are mimicking things that existed before they started making beats. So that's, so it's interesting, man, to see it blow up. I think a lot of the reason why it blows up, why it's blown up, I remember when lo-fi was trip hop. Listen, there's definitely some overlap in it. I feel like trip hop, I've listened to a lot of trip hop. It's not exactly the same. I feel like trip hop can be a bit darker. They both can be very melancholy, but one sometimes feels like, I feel like trip hop feels a bit darker, a borderline sinister at times. Can be somewhat, can be like aggressive in a subdued way, if that even makes sense. Like, it can, something can sound like hard, but at the same time feel kind of reserved. Like, it's almost like an assassin right? Where they're like real cool, calm, and collected, but you know, like it's gonna go down, right? That's kind of how I feel about trip hop. But yeah, so to me they're not exactly the same, but but there's definitely some overlap in terms of what you see with the breaks and other things. Anyway, but yeah, thank you so much for that question. That was a great question. I hope I answered it. All right. Warpath says, so I had to ask, but because I was fully unclear on it when I asked before, even though I wasn't able to back it, would I be able to get all of these awards minus the thank you note? Probably. And so the things that you are mentioning, autograph deluxe, yep, you'll be able to get the deluxe 2 LP vinyl, Adultus t-shirt, absolutely. Digital album plus Adultish sticker, yep, you'll be able to get all that. Adultish lyrics and photo ebook, absolutely. Handwritten postcard, yep, you'll be able to get all that. All right, thank you for that question. Shout out to Seven Muda on Twitch and Lumpy Khan. Sorry for taking so long to get to you guys. Thank you for watching though. All right. Any tips on dealing with breakup? Wow, man. Knock on wood. So I haven't had to deal with that in over 20 plus years. So maybe my tips won't be the best, but what I could, anytime you're dealing with any type of disappointment or letdown, I find it, I find it best to feel the feels that you need to feel, right? Like, so don't try to run away from what you're feeling. But at the same time, if you know that you do have a lot to do and things on your plate that need to get done, and you feel as though you're capable of doing those things without sacrificing quality and being able to give it your full attention as you would if you weren't dealing with the breakup, I would say lose yourself a bit in those things, especially if they give you peace of mind and enjoyment. Allow yourself to kind of get lost in it for a bit to maybe help deal with the pain some. I would also say if it's really bothering you like that, I'm absolutely 100% on board with people seeing therapists if they need to. So like, if it's really bothering you like that and you don't want to necessarily put the burden on talking to some of the people closest to you, and maybe some of those people closest to you have a relationship with that person, and so it's kind of hard for them to, to hear it without picking sides or to be neutral, then I would say, man, see a professional, right? Like see somebody, because it doesn't necessarily mean, like, even if they're, it doesn't, I'm one of those people that feel like we need to remove the stigma of going to see a therapist, going to get help, right? Like to deal with the stuff that we do. So I feel like if it's bothering you like that, talk to somebody, you know what I mean? But like, if you just feel like, what you're feeling isn't necessarily extreme, it just makes sense for the period of time that you were with them, the experiences y'all had together. If you believe in the end you'll be okay, but you just right now it hurts a bit, which obviously it should, then I would say, man, find some things that you love to do that you're passionate about, or some work that you already got on your plate, and allow yourself to get lost in it a bit. Maybe be able to give it a bit more time that you weren't because of the relationship you were in before. Again, I'm not a professional when it comes to these things, but I mean, that's probably the best advice I could offer. I wish you the best of luck, though, man, in your healing. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can imagine it's tough. Let's see. Another question from the homie Warpath. What were some of the biggest feats and proudest moments of your life, both in and outside of your career? Wow, man, that's a big question. I would say one of my proudest moments, it's funny, my mom brought this up to me right after my Kickstarter campaign went through, and I talked to her the day after my birthday. I talked to her on my birthday and then again afterwards. And she was letting me know like just how proud she was of me, not just because of that, but just because, for me, she was just proud that I stuck with all of the things I've been passionate about, like since I was a kid. And I stuck with my visual art. I stuck with my music. And my father wasn't alive to see me do music because he passed when I was 10. but he was alive to see me start to pursue visual art. And I would say that yeah, man, one of the proudest moments I had was when I got accepted and this is earlier in my life when I was still in high school, was when I got accepted into Pratt, because Pratt Institute, for those who don't know, is one of the top art schools in the world. Like literally, it's a top 10 art school globally and top 3 in the United States. And so, somebody like me getting into that school, being where I'm from with this and with the abilities I have, like it was a big deal, man. It was a real big deal. And part of what I said, I don't have it right next to me right now, but I still have a copy thanks to my sister Prissy. I still have a copy of my statement of purpose that I submitted to the school when I was applying, and I mentioned, like I mentioned my father, his impact on my life, and one of the things that I to this day still haven't let go of, and I talked to Tone Deaf about it the other day, and he remembered me mentioning it before. But what my mom said, she was like, "Yo, I'm so proud." She didn't say yo. She said, "I'm so proud of you and how you stuck with the things that you love. I know your father's turning over in his grave, because I remember what he used to say. I remember hearing him tell you you couldn't draw, and I remember him telling you you need to leave that alone and do something else." And one could argue that if he would have been alive long enough to hear me do music, he might have been saying the same thing about that. And so, just getting into that school. And then I would say just the other day, what I just experienced with my mom, trying to keep it together right now, but what my mom said to me, because like it wasn't prompted by anything. We were just talking, and and then she pops up on my Facebook from time to time to watch these same lives. She usually watches it after we're live. And she was just seeing the notification saying that like we had hit the goal. So she was calling me to congratulate me. And then she started talking about my dad. And man, that was, it was heavy. It was heavy, but it was dope. It was beautiful, man. And I appreciate that, you know what I mean, from her. And so there's a lot of things I'm proud of, but that's the moment that came to me right now. I'm proud of the family I built, man, probably more than anything. Like, the partner I've chosen and my wife, Rochelle, and these beautiful kids that we have, and who they're growing up to be, and potentially what contributions they're going to make to the world. It's just exciting to see, man. I say all the time, those two are the greatest thing I ever created, man. But yeah, all right. Let's get into some other questions. As a kid, I would hear. Hold on. As a kid, I would love it, but never knew what the genre or subgenre was. I just glad for the exposure now. I enjoy it. Word. I believe he's referring to lo-fi hip hop, in case anyone was wondering. Yes, A Vans, that is the right word. Thank you, to describe what we were talking when we were talking about trip hop. Brooding, yes. Always felt like Sub and the gang are the pioneers of modern lo-fi, that Champ Blue era. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. According to lo-fi hip hop, they got me in the mix as believing that I'm a part of that. And listen, I appreciate the love and stuff. Whenever someone brings it to me, I just redirect it to the people who I grew up listening to, whose sounds I was trying to emulate. You know what I mean? I grew up listening to, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, which I'm so excited. For those of y'all who are De La Soul fans, their catalog is about to be fully on all streaming platforms in early March. So De La is one of my favorite rap groups, for those of you who don't know. So yeah, man. But Native Tongues and even folks like Stetsasonic, who were like some of the earliest people sampling jazz music, those folks all came before me, right? And if I didn't hear what they did flipping jazz samples, and even albums like OC's album Time's Up, which or Word Life, actually, which I highly recommend y'all check out that album. There's so many artists who came before me, who obviously influenced my sound. Obviously early Common as well. So, while I appreciate people including me in the conversation, I know the truth of the matter is that, like, this is all an extension of all of these things that came before. And we just fully embraced our truth and the sound that, would go on to define our careers, Peace, Early. Good to see you up in here, man. Have a great day, bro. We won't be. Sorry, love. All right. I'm going to ask y'all a question in a second since y'all asking me questions, but let me catch up on these. Going into year 2 of my marriage, fan, any tips to get to 20? Man, communication. I know it's a generic response, but it's the truth, man. Communication is key. Like, and when I say communication, I mean being clear on things, right? Like being clear on who you are and what you will support and what you won't support, right? Like being clear with your partner, like, being your, like making sure that you're with someone who you can always be your authentic self around, and you don't have to hide certain aspects of who you are from them. That's a tough thing, man. Like to be with someone you can show the ugly parts of yourself, and for them to hear you out and understand how you got there, and you, like, y'all decide whether or not that's something, like if it's something you want to change about yourself, and you can, that y'all are able to work together to do that. But, that work really falls on you, but hoping you're with a partner that has the patience to go on that journey with you, and you being able to do the same for them. But you can't do any of that without communication. It's a major part of it. I definitely would recommend, if y'all are familiar with the 5 love languages, people always, like, when I'm talking to dudes about it, who don't know, that I get the eye roll and stuff, like it's cheesy, but that shit works. At least it worked for mine. And people always come to me asking how, like, to have a successful relationship, because I've been with my wife for so long, and our relationship is by no means perfect, but that was a tool that we used that, like, it really helped us get a lot more clarity on who we each were. You know what I mean? So if you haven't done that with your wife, I say do that, man. And regardless of y'all having kids and all of that, know that as much as y'all got to continue to make time for y'all kids, make time for yourselves too. Have those, still do dates and stuff like that. Still go out, do things for yourself and stuff, minus the kids when y'all are able to. Make time for them, do the things they want to do. Make time for yourself, do the things you want to do, separate from them when you can. You know what I mean? The thing I always tell people and stuff, because this is a conversation me and Odyssey had. We was on the road one time, driving from New York to the DMV, to DC and Maryland, and the question that he asked me is kind of a hot take, but he was like, do you put your child before your spouse, right? And that's a hard question. And he asked both of us in front of each other and in front of our kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bruh, who does that? You know what I mean? But he asked that question, and I answered, and I told him straight up. I was like, it's like I put my wife ahead of my children, because my children exist because of my love for my wife. You know what I mean? Now, not everyone's relationship is designed the same way. Some people have children from relationships outside of their marriage. But the thing I remind people all the time is, man, your kids are always watching. More is caught than taught. So you could tell your kids stuff all day. You could talk a good one, but your kids are watching you. They're watching how you treat, they're watching how you treat your wife. And if you have a partner that you had kids with from a past, like, someone you had kids with from a past relationship, they're watching how you treat their mother, their father, whoever, right? They're watching all of these interactions. So as much as you say, they're watching what you do, and they learn a lot of what you do. They mimic you, right? And so I say all that to say that if I say all the time that like my wife comes first, but I know that my children benefit from seeing that love. When we're angry, right? We're fighting, we're having a hard time. My children are sad. When my wife and I are happy and stuff like that, and having our little moments and stuff, as much as it might be embarrassing to my oldest daughter now and stuff, she usually will like cover her eyes, walk out the room, but she's smiling as she goes out that room, like, oh my God, you guys, but like, and then my youngest loves to see it. Kiss my mommy. You know what I mean? Like they love to see it, man. They benefit from that. So, yeah, man, I mean, I'm going off on a tangent, but I wish y'all the best, man, in y'all relationships with y'all partners and stuff. Hey, Raj, man, you're welcome, brother. All right. Let's see. Substantial pro tips. I'm saying, you know what I mean? Look, no pressure. You know what I mean? I'm coming through right now. Ain't nobody come through with a super chat or a donation, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. It's not, man, it's not why we're here, but but feel free. All right. Let's see. Hey, Andre, what's going on, man? Good to see you up in here. What are the kind of things you do to get out of a creative block and get inspired again? Well, all right, this part is going to be maybe tough to hear depending on what type of creator you are. I don't lean too heavily on inspiration, right? Like younger me relied heavily on being inspired to create. But where I am at, where I'm at right now in my life, in terms of how I create, when I'm working on my albums and stuff like that, technically I could finish it when I finish it, right? Like I could take as long as I need to get a particular thing done. But at the same time, I put certain pressures on myself because if I worked for someone else, if like someone gave me thousands of dollars to knock out a song, and this has happened, people have hit me up and was like, yo, I need this song done in a week. You know what I mean? And they've given me a lot of money to knock that thing out, and I did it. And then other times they needed it done in like 2 months, and I did it, right? And those constraints that they put on me kind of forced me to create whether I wanted to create within a certain period of time because I signed a contract saying I would do a thing. And so what I've learned to do is I treat it like a muscle to, so to speak, where because I've gone through this so many times, right? A lot of times I'll find the initial idea, and I don't always, the moment the idea comes to me, instantly act on the idea. Sometimes I will come up with an idea for something years in advance or like while I'm driving or something like that. I put it in my phone or document it somewhere, and then I come back to it, right? And so in moments where I have to, or not have to, or in moments where I have some time, I'll designate certain time and say, all right, at this point in time on this particular day this week, I'm going to make sure I dedicate a certain amount of time to music. And in that time, I treat it as exercise, not so much as like I'm going in here and, things have to be 100% done a particular way. Right? Sometimes I just got to finish something, but it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly how I intended it to be. So I keep that aspect of it loose, if that makes sense, but I still start that period of time with the intent of finishing what I start. Whether it's something I love or not remains to be seen, but that particular time is like, yo, I'm going to go through the process. And that means that if the idea isn't coming the way I like it or not, I'm still going to finish what I start. I'm going to go down that road. I'm not going to stop myself. And then I can always circle back, see how I feel about it tomorrow. Sometimes I'll wake up the next day, listen to what I worked on and be like, yeah, that was trash. But anyway, I think the more important thing for me at this point is the exercise. It's to go through the process. And so I guess to answer your question, a lot of people don't like feeling forced, but I recognize that this pressure that exists, it's me putting it on myself. It isn't necessarily coming from somewhere outside. I'm basically putting the same pressure on myself that if I worked for a company, they'd be putting that on me to get the results they need because of whatever contract. And so I've taught myself to work under those same constraints, but to do it for myself, which I believe is more beneficial. So that being said, I rarely have moments where I can't write, right? Or like, so like, cause creativity for me is a muscle, and I make sure I get a certain amount of exercise consistently. So I don't have to rely solely on inspiration to create, you know? I know people don't like the sound of this, but I don't really give a shit. It's my truth. And it's because of that exercise that I've applied for so many years. And I borrowed this from Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee said that he was like, yo, with martial arts, he aspired to unnatural naturalness or natural unnaturalness, right? So like to somehow be natural, but at the same time be able to work with the efficiency of a well-oiled machine, right? And that's what I've trained and really developed my skill set and have all of these different tools in my box, so to speak, so I can execute when I need to. All right. Thanks for that question, man. I was like, damn, I know this is running on, but it's always kind of difficult explaining because I piss a lot of people off when I get into spaces with creatives. Because one of my favorite quotes, a quote is from what's his name? Chuck Close. Chuck Close has a quote where he says, "Inspiration is for amateurs. The rest of us get up and go to work." And a lot of creatives don't like that quote. I love it. I love it. Because the reason why I love it is because when I hear go to work, I'm thinking I'm going to work for myself. Like, in this business that I built around me being a creative has now become a family business, right? And people I care about benefit from this. The community at large that listens to what I do, they benefit from this. And so as long as I have a voice, as long as I have the ability to record and document that voice, and the ability to perform as well, I'm going to use what I have to make it happen, and I'm not going to make excuses. Another quote for you from Bob Marley, because after he got shot, some of you know the story. He got shot. It was an assassination attempt. He literally had a show the next day. People didn't expect him to perform. He got up there to perform, and during the interview, they asked him why, and he said, "The people that want to do this world harm, they don't take days off, so neither can I." Right. So, yeah, man, I don't expect everybody else to live their life like that. So let's be clear. But this is how I move through what I do. You know what I mean? This is what works for me. So it doesn't have to work for everybody else, you know? Word up. All right. Thank you for that, Andrew. Pardon me, Andre. My bad. I'm saying the wrong name out here. Peace, fam. Got to get back to work, man. Have a great one. 8 years myself. Communication is key so far. Everyone be safe. Gotta love it. Be good, brother. Nice Afro says, awesome. The statement that comes out of nowhere sometimes mean the most. Man, I appreciate that. What are some essential things, like items you couldn't live without, or things you always buy as soon as you get paid? Things I couldn't live without. I can't live without. I'm already go. Yeah, man, I can't imagine life without music. You know what I mean? Like, just like, that I just can't, you know what I mean? Even when it's not playing in my house, when I'm driving and stuff, it's on, music, man, like in some way, shape or form. So something that allows me to listen to music whenever I need music, which is almost always, is probably the quintessential thing for me. Something else, man, like all the other stuff is kind of trivial, you know what I mean? In terms of things that I gotta get when I get paid, food, you know what I'm saying? Food, that's about it, fam. Like, there's a ton of material things that I like, and but I can't say I couldn't do without those things. You know what I mean? I love shoes, but I'm not going out of my way to get it every time I get paid. I have a ridiculous amount of shoes, and I feel like sometimes I get judged when I show how many shoes I have. But I always remind people, fam, like I just threw away a pair of shoes when I was in Uganda that got really badly messed up. And man, I had those shoes since like 2011. You know what I mean? And they look good. Like they only look like I had them for like 3 or 4 years. So now the reason why I have such a crazy shoe collection is not because I buy shoes all the time. It's because, two of my best friends or two of my oldest friends wear the exact same shoe size as me. So we sometimes alternate. You know what I mean? Shout out to Sherm the barber. And then who buys far more shoes than me. So I get a lot of shoes from Sherm. And then occasionally I'll buy my own. So, but like I bought some shoes in the last few months. I've gotten like 3 new pair of shoes. This is the first time I bought sneakers since like since before the start of the pandemic. I think, the last time I had bought shoes before I just bought these joints was like February 2020, right? So yeah, man. But thanks for the question. Zanik, peace. What's going on? Welcome. Joshua says, fam, my wife is from Congo, so sometimes things get heated, and I don't know what is happening. I love it, though. Hey, man, it's real. Yeah, 5 different tongues. That's a lot. That's a lot, bro. I mean, I think in those times, it's like, because, yeah, man, like I've been there where things have gotten hot with us and stuff. I think in those times, like, after things calm down, having real conversations about as long as certain lines don't get crossed and we respect each other's humanity, right? And don't cross certain lines, we can always bounce back from these things. And so yeah, but I think conflict is a natural part of life. So going through life trying to avoid conflict is going to restrict your growth. It's not going to allow you to grow. I think being able to master conflict, right? And not just physical conflict, but like verbal conflict, right? Disagreements and all of these things that have us at odds from time to time. Being able to have intelligent conversations, even when the topic at hand is something very serious that might trigger some people, like being able to master those type of conversations, or at least be able to navigate it in a way that is not going to cause permanent damage to you physically or mentally, you know what I mean? When you're able to do that, man, you can navigate almost anything in your relationship, I feel, Yeah, man, Odyssey, boy. Odyssey has some tough questions. Let's see. That's a beautiful way to put it, honestly. Thanks. That's a bar. All right. Oh, I just got the cue from my wife. Lunch ready. So I'm about to get y'all this is the wrap it up joint. So I'm going to get these last questions. Please don't send any more questions. I'm answer these last joints and then I'm going to go take a break with the missus. All right. Since we keep talking about relationships, have your fans or your relationship with them change majorly for you, like perception, outlook, approach to things, or even change you as a person? I don't know. I won't say it has. I don't know if I can say it's changed me as a person. I think what it has changed for me majorly is like I am confident that like my true fans understand what makes me me, and respect who my authentic self is, right? And so it makes me more comfortable in these situations where I interact with y'all. It makes me feel like, I don't have to, when y'all ask certain questions, I'm not so worried about, I'm less worried about feelings and like about, how things are perceived, and more worried. I don't even, worry is not the right word. I just know that I can give you an authentic answer. And so I love the fact that the relationship I feel like I built with most of you gives me space to really always keep it a buck with you and always be authentic. So, because I see from time to time where I do things on certain platforms, and then here comes a person who's never met me a day in their life, never followed my career, and they see an interview with me and they say things like, he faking, or he this, he that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fam, like people like that, it comes from a place of stupidity. For you to assume that you know who a person you've never met like really, like who they really are, or they're trying to hide this, that, and the third. It's just like you haven't spent enough time around them to understand who they are. And so I've never understood people like that. And I'm able to, I feel like because of the relationship I've developed with you all, I'm able to navigate certain uncomfortable situations with people who claim to be fans, but aren't. Like, they're maybe here because they like a particular thing I did, but they don't really understand the man that I am, that I've consistently been, or been following my growth, or know the work that I do outside of just rapping. So occasionally people try to say little slick things. Of course, that happened a ton during the uprising here in the U.S. after George Floyd passed. And so, being able to understand when I'm talking to the real ones and the ones who are the passerbyers, right? And how to deal with them. And so I appreciate y'all for really rocking with me. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of y'all rock with me outside of just this music. I know a lot of y'all rock with me because of what type of man I am too. So I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Of course, this is all digital, so who can know for sure, really? But some of the stuff y'all say to me, whether it's via email, DM and stuff, in quick exchanges and stuff, and those of you I have met in person, I feel seen. You know what I mean? And so I feel like, if anything, I don't know if it's changed me. I feel like it's allowed me to continue. It's given me the space to continue to be my full self and complete self in these spaces, even when it makes some people uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So thank y'all. Legend in so many facets. Word. That's a great mindset, just to go down the road. Realize I often get too hung up on getting perfect on the first go. Word. Yeah, can't wait for inspiration. You could be waiting forever. That's real. That's definitely real. I've heard you. I heard you're pescatarian. Why did you make this change? Was it health, longevity, quality, or life reasons? I'm thinking about doing that, or at least heading in that direction. Yes. So yeah. It was definitely for health reasons. It wasn't something that was recommended by a doctor. It was, I had been going down this path for quite some time. I gave up pork. It was still, shit, man. I was like 16 when I gave up pork. It was in the 90s. I gave up beef in the 90s. And this was not during a period of time where there were a ton of like vegetarian or pescatarian, not pescatarian, but a ton of vegetarian options. I'm also allergic to shellfish. So being pescatarian, which basically means you still eat fish, like, understand, like, for certain people it means certain things, but for me, just cut that in half. Whatever you're thinking, chop that in half, because that's my situation. So no shrimp, no crab. I'm from Maryland and can't eat crab, son. That is torture. Torture, dog. But anyway, yeah, I made the choice to first give up beef because, first give up pork because I was diagnosed with high blood pressure at a young age. And a lot of the meat and the different things that I was eating in general, I was adding a lot of salt to my food. And then I was talking to my doctor about certain things I was eating, and I noticed that a lot of the pork that I was eating in particular had a lot of sodium in it based on the way it was prepared. Of course, we could have just prepared it different, but I just felt like it'd be easier to just give it up. So I started with pork. I gave that up first. Keep in mind, when I got diagnosed with high blood pressure, I was actually on high blood pressure medication, right? So I was taking the same type of medication that, like, I was seeing older men and women taking, you know what I mean? And I was taking this at like 14, 15 years old. So when I first gave up pork, within a few years, I was able to change my situation. So I was able to bring my blood pressure back down to normal. And so since I did that, it has not gone back. Then because of digestive issues and concerns and things I started learning about beef, and just, TMI, to be more regular, so to speak. I considered giving up beef, like when I first moved to New York, and so I gave it up, and then I noticed that, I'm trying not to get too much info, but I just noticed things were flowing a bit better. You know what I mean? When I took that out of my diet, but then time went on, like, even though I gave up these different things and parts of my health was going a bit better, even though I wasn't working out as much as I should, I was gaining a lot of weight. I think at my heaviest was like 239. And long story short, I gave up. I just made the decision to give up chicken in 2008. And so if y'all look at pictures or whatever pre that, notice that I was a tad thicker. You know what I mean? Sub thickums. Uh, I was that was probably while I was still eating chicken. But when I gave up chicken, I dropped. Was it 2008 or 2009? I think it was 2008. But yeah, when I gave up chicken, I literally dropped 25 pounds within 4 months, and that's without me increasing my workout regimen. So I just dropped a ton of weight, and yeah, so I just saw the benefits of the different things that I was doing. And I knew that I probably, if I went straight vegetarian or vegan, I would more than likely end up going back. A good amount of people who I know who were vegan or raw foodists or this, that, and third, who have really extreme diets, a lot of them they go that way. And when they travel a bit more, because when you go to see this world and realize when you go to certain spaces, not everybody's as modern as we are when it comes to these diets, and realize how limited you are, and how, like, unless you're going to go grocery shopping or got the time to go grocery shopping every time you go somewhere, it's really hard to maintain that. But everywhere I go in the world, like, you can find fish, you can, you know what I mean? And fish, in terms of like the meats that are out there, like the benefits, you know what I mean? Especially when you're not eating certain things. So, like, for example, I eat salmon. And I know there's a ton of benefits to eating salmon, but I don't eat smoked salmon on a consistent basis, because smoked meats, smoked salmon in particular, is high in sodium. But then also, smoked meats in general aren't great for you, especially on a regular basis. So, yeah, man, just learning, bro. I'm just trying to learn, take care of myself. I'm trying to be here as long as I can for these babies. I'm 44 right now. I'm only 2 years younger than my father was when he died. You understand? So I don't want that for my kids. I'm trying to be here. I'm trying to live a long life, be here as long as possible. I mean, if I'm able to do music for a long time too, great. But most importantly, I'm trying to be here for these babies. I'm trying to be here for my wife. And that's really what all of this is about at this point. Just high quality of life, man, and be highly functional and all that. Happy Friday. Hey, CJ Cully, clap it up for CJ. Appreciate you, bro, for backing the campaign, man. Thank you so much. Seriously, fam. All right. Yeah, so let me wrap it up. Hopefully y'all listened and didn't ask any more questions. The comments. There we go. I don't know about everyone else, but your realness is one of the things that keeps me coming back, man. Thank you. Not a question. Just want to let you know that you're one of my favorite MCs. Easy top 10. Your music taught me through some tough times, man. Hey, Roger, man, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Peace. Not going to be long. I'm on lunch break. Peace, Soul Tiger. Good to see you, fam. All right. Definitely appreciate your talent, but your talent is all about the man you are. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Hawaii up in here. What's going on, Tommy? Good to see you in here, man. Chat, can we appreciate that we're able to kick it with one, if not our favorite rapper? Grateful for this weekly, man. Thank you, fam. I appreciate that, Joshua. Seriously, man. Thanks. All right, that's why I'm like, nah, man. I appreciate it. All right. So on that note, let me go ahead and wrap it up, man. Thank y'all so much, man. I appreciate all the love. Y'all have a great weekend. Yeah, man. Y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. All that good stuff. I'll see you soon, but talk to you soon. I'll catch you next time, y'all. All right. Peace, 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 peace.